the Torrance Council. Oh yeah, we're also going to be reading. Thank you, Amanda. I need my Pepsi. All right, so let's do this again. Hi, welcome. I'm Denise Spellman. I'm currently the Torrance Council PTA Scholarship Chair. I have Amanda Gutierrez, who will be taking your attendance as well as helping monitor chat. And I also have Jessica Nguyen, who is the previous scholarship chair for Torrance Council PTA the previous 2 years. So she was nice enough to help me out with this. Between her and me, we were the ones communicating with you, and she'll also monitor chat to answer any questions y'all may have. Feel free to put any questions you have in chat, or if there's a pause in between, feel free to speak up or raise your hand, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have. All right, so again, that's me. That's my email address in case you do not have it. Hopefully everybody does have the email address as we've been corresponding with you on a regular basis. But again, if you have any questions, email me at scholarships@torrancecouncilptas.org. All right, so basically your scholarship unit chair duties and responsibility is you are acting as the liaison between the unit and Torrance Council PTA. So of course, if there's any questions that you may have that you need to redirect to your committee people, please feel free to reach out to us. But again, you'll be the liaison between us and your unit. You want to maintain communication with Torrance Council PTA Unitship Scholarship Chair, which is me. And you also want to maintain communication with your unit president. Also, you should have already formed your scholarship committee for your unit. It's very important that you have elected your scholarship committee. If you have not done so, you need to do it now, as we do have upcoming deadlines. Also, make sure that your scholarship committee members are PTA members. So make sure that is very important that you know that they are PTA members. Of course, attend the training workshop, which is what you're doing right now. You are also responsible for scholarship application and discretion. So basically, bottom line is this: you should have already received, if not so, an email from Jessica letting you know about your folder. Inside your folder, you'll have 2 sets of scholarship applications. You have one that has the picture and names of the applicants, and you have ones that do not have their picture or their names are blocked out. So it's very important that you only share this information with your committee members, and if anything, your unit president. Please do not share the applications or any information with anybody that's outside of the committee. It's very important that you keep everything discreet as possible. You will receive and distribute the scholarship applications electronically. All will be in Google. So again, it will be through Google Excel. So you will have all that information for you to distribute via email. And you want to make sure you set up the committee procedures and deadlines based on Torrance Council PTA and unique deadlines. So we'll tell you in a little bit in the slides when we will need for you to provide us with the names and the dollar amounts of the recipients. So you want to make sure you give your committee that information. You don't want to have your deadline the same as ours. You want to make sure you have at least maybe about a week or so as a cushion. So again, please make sure that you have everything all set. Also, if possible, you should submit an event plan through your board of directors. What it is just basically whatever your dollar amount is on your budget, and you have an event plan. Just state that you have this amount, $1,500, let's say, is your budget, and you say $1,500 will be used to give out a scholarship for a graduating senior or multiple seniors. So you want to kind of have that approved. And again, check with your budget to confirm your scholarship amount. Collection of applications need to come back from the committee with tally results. So you want to find out, have they set who they want? If there's more than one recipient that they're requesting to get it, but let's just say you have three people of the same, you want to kind of check the tally results on that. If needed, assemble committee for final recipient selection. So again, you can say you have 8 applicants. Out of the 8, you have 3 people in consideration, your top 3, but you only have enough maybe for 1 or 2 people. So you kind of want to make sure that you all get together and decide who and how you're going to give them the money. Also, you want to present the recipients with their award letter or check, however your unit chooses to do it at a PTA event. For example, we at Torrance Council PTA present them at the Spring Brunch in June. And you may all want to do it at an association meeting, whether it's at your election meeting or whether it's a open house night. It's however you decide as a unit to present them. You can let them know ahead of time and invite them to come to one of your events. So just kind of talk it over with your committee and your board as to how you want to present the recipients with their scholarship. All right, next slide. Again, it's very important that you email the recipient the information, whether it's one or two. You want to let us know the first and last name, their information as to their email address, the scholarship amount, what unit you are, and we want that no later than Monday, March 14th. The reason why is this. Each high school has a night, like Sammy Saxon's night is at North, and there's other events that they do around May to where they recognize a lot of the seniors. And in there's a booklet, a little program. And in that program, it has a list of all the scholarship recipients, what scholarships they're receiving, how much the dollar amount, and where it's coming from. So it's very important that we get that information right away because we need to pass it on to the college and career counselors or the counselors themselves because they put it in the program. And we'd hate to have a senior receive a PTA scholarship from your unit, and not be in the book. A lot of them like to have that, some don't, but it's very important that we have that information to get. Again, everything is on a timeline, and it's very important that we get that information by March 14th. So we ourselves can go ahead and pass it on to the high schools, okay? And we want to make sure again that they're included in the high school graduation program as well. Okay. Forming your scholarship committee, it's important. No committee member can have a child or relative who is a senior at a Torrance high school. Again, make sure that your committee member does not have a child or a relative who is a senior at a Torrance high school. It's very important on that. Also, you want to check your unit bylaws. Some units have it in their standing rules, or some have them inside their bylaws with information regarding your committee guidelines. Again, some units do, some don't. So if you want to check your bylaws, please check with your board of directors if you do not have a copy of one, and check to see if there are any set guidelines. Also, committee should have at least 3, but no more than 7 members. Because keep in mind that, you're going to be passing these applications out to everybody. It's great. I would say maybe 5 would be a good amount, but no less than 3, but no more than 7, because again, you don't want them, you want to get these applications looked and read at, and then as soon as possible, you want to find out who the recipients are going to be. Again, do not share this application with anybody outside of the committee. Again, you must be discreet. And the committee members also, again, should be a PTA member. So make sure that you check with your membership chair or your president to see who is on your committee if they are a PTA member. If they're not a PTA member, then you either need to find somebody else that's willing to step in, or you get them to be a PTA member as soon as possible. All right. Jessica, do you want to go ahead and put this part, fill in on the applications?
So let me stop sharing this for a minute because I'm going to share the drive.
Go ahead.
Let me see how I can find that. Okay.
And while you're doing that, again, sorry for those of you that are late coming in. We had a delay on logging in. If you can, please put your first and last name and the unit you're representing. And if you have any questions, put it on chat. We'll answer it as quickly as we can.
Can everybody see my screen? Okay. Can everybody see the screen? I put the drive into the chat link. This is what I see when I opened it. So every school has a folder. So I'm going to do Adams because that's the first one. And in everybody's folder, there's going to be 2 folders, one that says with name and one that says without name. So the folder you're going to share with your committee is the one without names, because I cleaned up the application. So what they see is something like this. So there's no names, no address, none of the applicant's important information. It also has their transcript and their 2 letters of recommendation. Now I've removed all of their names and any important information so that when your committee looks at it, it's almost an unbiased, I want to say an unbiased review. So sometimes when you read the letter of rec, it's going to sound a little funny because there's no name and there's nothing. So this is the folder you're going to share with your committee. And what you can do is you can just right click and get the link. So I've allowed everybody to have access to this folder just for your committee. That's the one you should be sharing. When I get the applications, some of them come out like a PDF, so they look like this. But for some reason, West High, they gave me folders. So I cleaned up in the same manner. So when you open the folder, you'll see essentially the same thing. So when you go to look at it as the scholarship chair, you will see now their information, their email, their photos, and their names. So after you pick whoever is going to get the scholarship, you go back to this application, and this is their email, their phone number if you need it. And the way that I have named the candidate starts with the high school they're from, and everybody I get is essentially alphabetical. So I'll just name them candidate 1, candidate 2. So if you ever lose or need to know their names, you just go back here. So let's say your committee chooses Torrance High candidate number 24. You go back to your folder with the names and you'll be able to match it to this applicant and you'll know who they are. Does that make sense? Questions? Okay. So essentially what I see is this. I don't know when you guys click on the link if you'll see the same thing, but I've restricted access, so you may not be able to see somebody else's folder. I don't know how it works on your end because I can only tell from my end. So hopefully that restriction has worked. But for sure, when it comes to your folder with the names, only you and your president, the unit president, can access that folder. Any questions so far?
I see on chat a couple of people mentioned I did not get an email.
No, I didn't send out an email. So I'm gonna, after this workshop, I'll send everybody the presentation along with the drive. And then I will, if you have trouble accessing it, I will work through and make sure everybody who needs it gets access to it, because this is a restricted link so that not everybody can access it. So I do have to slowly go through and approve it, but you should have access to your folder. So if you do have trouble after this workshop, send us an email, tell me your unit, and I will send you specifically your folder if anybody's having trouble. Is that any other questions on how this folder works? I share the same email address as Denise. I'm sometimes Denise, for those wondering.
We're sisters from another mister.
Yes, but pretty sure everybody will have access. I will send this link to the drive if you missed it, and I will give everybody access. Please only share the without name folder to your committee for your elementary or your high school or middle school only. Okay.
I have a quick question. Carol from JH Hall. So Wafa Zaroli is also, she's going to be the scholarship chair for, I think, Adams, but she's also my co-chair for at JH Hall. If the link, if the email that you sent with me for the folders just goes to me, but she's going to help me with like the template and the tech part of it, will I be able to forward that to her? Will she be able to access that as well? Or does she have to?
So basically whoever is on the directory as the scholarship chair, that is the person I give access to, and also the unit president. So if she's not in that directory, if you just want to email me her name, then I will add her to that link as well.
Oh, okay, perfect.
But if you know, some units have, you know, co-chairs, if it is already on there, then I've already added them to the link.
Okay, yeah, not sure if she was added, but if not, I will email you separately.
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
No worries. So please only share the no name folders because the ones with the names, it definitely has all of the students' information. And then before we go on, one of the questions that I seem to see a lot is how do we get the application, or how do seniors get the application? You know, what is the process? Typically, the counselors work with the seniors, and there is one application that is sent to the seniors. They fill it out and it gets sent to all of the local scholarship. We only get the ones that are PTA members, and that is the only thing they need to be to qualify for the scholarship. So I get a lot of questions of, well, you know, my kid's going to be a senior, like, how come, you know, they didn't see it? Or I don't know. I think every high school kind of notifies their senior differently. So that's something you should tell your seniors to reach out to the counselors and have them work with them there. But we only get the applications that are PTA members. Okay. And then I'll let Denise go through the rest of that.
Thank you. And when you do get your applications and you look at them, try to kind of skim through them before you send it out to your committee, because Jessica went through all these with a fine tooth comb, but sometimes we could miss and forgot to block out a name. And if you see that, let us know. But other than that, yeah. How many applications do we get, Jessica, altogether?
So we have, West High had about 70, Torrance High about 30, I think South was about another 60. So we look about like 200 applications, and there's a lot of information that goes on. So if you do see something that I need to block out, like Denise said, please let me know if there's any errors. If you got somebody else's application, let me know. Sometimes that happens because I'm dragging a bunch of stuff into the folder. If there's a mistake, please let us know. Like, we're human, we read through a lot. We try to clean it up, because in the past these used to be hard copies, and then you would have to go off and photocopy and black it out yourself. So Denise and I have done the harder work for you guys, and you guys just have to email everybody. So we've made this process, you know, as easy as we can, because we know that your time is so valuable, and we're just so grateful that you guys are doing this, because without you guys, the seniors won't be getting the scholarship that they're getting.
So thank you.
So thank you.
All right, so how to select your recipients. Again, check to see if you have anything in your bylaws. Again, some units may not. You want to meet with your committee to lay out guidelines for selecting, and I'll get to that in a minute. And then your committee should determine how many scholarships will be awarded and the amounts, unless already determined by your unit bylaws. So for example, if you don't have anything in your bylaws, so you can guide your committee and say, you know what, you can tell them, okay, here's $1,500. You can divide it up by 3 recipients, or they can have $500 each. You can divide it by 5 recipients. You can do 2 recipients or give 1 to all recipients. It's up to you as your unit and your committee, how much you want, how many people will get a scholarship and what dollar amount. Also, some units like to do it based on, volunteer hours and clubs and stuff like that, how they want to do it. Some units like to award them a scholarship based on financial needs and everything. There's different ways to decide how you want to give a scholarship to a graduating senior. So again, check your unit bylaws to see if there's any guidelines, or otherwise then you can just kind of give them and say, hey, this is the amount you have. You can decide how many people will get it based on the applicants you get. It could be based on needs. It could be based on GPA. It could be based on their clubs or volunteer work they do all together, one or the other. So again, there's just different scenarios, and it's a lot to go through and decide how you want to do it. But again, check your bylaws if you have it. Some don't, some do, or you can set it at, guidelines to whoever is going to be on the committee and how they decide to do it. Special note. We have some students, when they finish middle school, some attend CAMS, the California Academy of Math and Science. Again, a CAMS student who attends elementary and or middle school with TUSD are eligible for a unit scholarship at their formal TUSD school if they meet the following criteria: They must still reside in the city of Torrance. They must be a PTA member at a TUSD school. They must use the TUSD scholarship application and submit to the high school that they would have attended. But the camp students, though, are only eligible for elementary or middle school, not for high school and not for Torrance Council PTAs. Some units have it in their bylaws that they would give a scholarship to a camp student, some don't, because they feel that if they didn't attend school in Torrance Unified at the high school level, then it should be given to a student that is currently at the high school. Again, check your bylaws, that's your holy Bible, and they'll have the information you have on there. If your unit does not address scholarships for camp students in the bylaws, it is advised that the situation is addressed to the PTA board to vote on. So again, that's where the event planning worksheet can come into place. You can put it on the event planning worksheet, $1,500 is our budget. However, we prefer that, that the money goes to a PTA member at the high school level, not outside where there was CAMs. It's however you decide you want to do it, but you want to make sure that you get the board approval on that, because you'd hate to have somebody come and say, hey, I applied, but I didn't get it. And, it could be like, oh, well, we didn't receive the application because you didn't follow the guidelines. Or, again, you want to make sure that you have board approval and you vote on it. It's very important because that way it's also on the minutes and as your backup in case anything happens. All right, notifying the scholarship recipients and awarding scholarships. Again, make sure you have received the board approval to release the funds for the scholarship money. You should have done that at your last association meeting, or if you have an association meeting coming up, you want to make sure that it is on the list to release funds. That's usually what your treasurer or your budget person will do a recommendation for approval on that. You want to check your unit if they have some units already have a preset standard letters for the awardees. So you want to go ahead and see if you have one. If not, you're always more than welcome to check with us, or we can check with other units to see what they may have to borrow. Your unit may also choose to notify non-recipients and thank them for applying. So you're also more than welcome to do that for anybody that did not get the scholarship. You want to invite, again, your scholarship recipient to an upcoming association meeting or another PTA event to present their scholarship. You want to coordinate, again, the presentation of the award for the event. So you want to make sure that if you are going to have them come to an event, try to do it on a day or an evening to where it's not interrupting them during the school. A lot of times, you want to invite them to an evening event. But if you do, some might do it on a open house, and some schools have open house during the day. I know a few elementary schools do their open house during the day in the morning. So if you wish to do it at that time, check to see if the student is allowed to leave school for school business if possible. But other than that, try to do it on a day and a time to where it is not affecting them during the school day. And please follow current COVID-19 safety guidelines if possible. Some people still prefer to mask, some people like to social distance. So it's kind of try to make sure that you follow COVID guidelines. At this time, are there any questions, comments? Did I do okay? Did I not do okay?
I have a question, Minnie.
Yes, Michelle.
I may have missed this because I was a couple minutes late, but are all of the applications submitted now, or are they still coming in?
They're done.
Oh, they're done. Okay, so we can go ahead and start it with.
Yeah,
our
Jessica
committee.
mentioned
Okay.
that she was going to, because right now you have access, you just can't open the application yet. We're going to
Got it.
send that to you, right,
Okay.
Jessica?
I'll give everybody access that needs access, because everything, I restricted the folders just so that if you are sending out the link, certain people don't have access to the ones with the names. And we are very careful with student information, because not only does it have like their address, their email, it also has like their transcripts and letters of rec. So we are, we want to be very protective and discreet about how that gets around.
Awesome.
And then there was a question as to, can we email a copy of the slide?
Yes, we will send out a follow-up email. We'll have everything in an email so that you guys have everything you guys need to, hit the ground ready.
I didn't go too fast, but you know, all of it was up there. I just read what I said.
The video will also be posted to the Torrance Council PTA's
And the
website.
video will also be put onto our website, so you always can go back and reread it, take notes on my pros and cons, and then you can just, you know, highlight that area. All right, does anybody else have any questions or anything like that? And like I said, if you have any issues or problems trying to open up the folder or the link when it's sent, please let us know as soon as possible, because March 15th, right? March 15th? I think, yeah, whatever date it was in March is, believe it or not, is right around the corner. I mean, the months in the year has been going by fast, so please don't sit on it. As soon as you get it, reach out to your committee if you already have so. Send it to them right away. I would probably give them obviously a deadline, at least maybe a week before our deadline. That way it gives you enough time to get us the information. But again, feel free to email us. If we do not have your email address, or you have somebody that's on, who's a co-chair like Carol had, or anybody, please email us at our email address. And we will make sure that that they're included on any of the correspondence. And I think, was it March 15th? Is it March 15th or 14th?
14,
14th.
Monday, the
March
14th.
March
Also,
14th.
some of your applications, you're gonna notice some of the students went to multiple elementary school or multiple middle school. I didn't discount it because I usually leave it to the units to decide how they want to handle it. Some, if they move to a different school, they, you know, remove them. But I'm gonna leave that up to each unit to decide, because there isn't a whole lot of applications to begin with at each level. So I just left it there. Also, some applications are missing a letter of recommendation. So they usually have one. I'm gonna let the units decide what they wanna do. But at the bare minimum, every application should have an application and a transcript. The letter of rec, you know, I let the units decide. I didn't remove anybody. So
And we've had units that had no applications.
this
well,
year,
we've had
everybody has applications.
Yeah, and
so-
we've had units with maybe one or two, and they felt that those applicants were not worthy of it and chose not to. So don't feel obligated, have to. I mean, it'd be really nice to give a scholarship to a senior. But again, if you feel that the applicants that you have are not, you know what I mean? We're not say worthy, but you feel that they don't qualify, or, you know, you feel that they're not deserving of it, you know, again, it's up to you as your committee, and that's why you want to give them guidelines on how to do it. They're not obligated to, but, you know, we do always want to have somebody receive something, again, you know, it's based on the applicants, what you receive, and whether you feel that they, you know, that they deserve one or not. So again, if you get into that situation as well, and you don't know what direction to go, feel free to reach out to me and Jessica, and we'll help guide you as to how you want to do it as well. So anybody else have any questions or anything? All right then, well, again, thank you. Sorry again for the delay on getting you on. The final reminder, send the list of your unit scholarship recipients, include name, high school, and scholarship amount to TCPTA Scholarship, myself and Jessica, no later than Monday, March 14th. So again, it's very important that we get those in there. So other than that, thank you, thank you, thank you, and have fun. And thank you all. We appreciate you for what you're doing. It's not an easy job, but thank you so much, and have a wonderful night.
Sorry for the delay.
Thank
We really
you.
appreciate your time.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll
Thank you,
blame
guys.
it on the DEI committee.